Interject here just a little bit. I think maybe I'm the one that came up with the approach first of the landowners getting together, which we're working on, and formally offering to buy it from the county.
Okay.
I think we're going to get that done real soon. And what I'm proposing is that we buy it for the exact amount the county paid for it, which really galls me to have to buy it, because it was basically given away by the property owners in the first place to bring the railroad in. But I think we're going to come to that agreement to offer to buy it as a group and put a covenant in, and I'm not talking about buying it as an easement. I'm talking about buying it as a land sale, buying it back, we own it. And in that, we would put a covenant in to where we would be obligated to, any time in the future, for perpetuity, we would be obligated, if there was ever a rail service need, and there was an actual buyer that would put a rail line in, we would be obligated to give an easement back at the price we paid for it, adjusted for inflation. So we would relieve the county of all their debt and responsibility of fences and everything. They could take that almost $500,000 and do the work on Bell Fountain Road that needs to be done. They've already got it pretty good to Airport Road, and it's getting close to being ready down to Green Prairie Road. It just needs a little paving. They've got it widened already. It's not that much. I can't imagine that it would take half of that $500,000 to continue it on to Bell Fountain or say Alpine. And the road right of way is wide enough. That's the one thing that most of us feel like this is EFU zoned. I mean, we're bound. What we're bound to on our property is exclusive farm use. Recreation is not farm use. And if it's within the county right of way, that's transportation, and that's what it was intended for. And one of the main reasons that we're so opposed to it is Oregon has a right to farm law. Laws change. Laws are never permanent. And if this was enacted and a bike path was put down through the middle of all this farm ground, there are activities in farming that sometimes aren't pleasant. There's dust issues and herbicides, pesticides, ag lime spread, and all kinds of Joe Pump's dairy effluent out on his cornfield right by where the bike path is going to be. The wind catches that the wrong day, and somebody's going to get upset, and somebody's going to change the laws on right to farm. And we're going to be sitting here with farm ground we can't do anything else with, and now we can't farm it either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why we're so opposed to it in the first place. But what we're talking about doing is offering to buy it, and Benton County then can take that money and do what they need to do on Bell Fountain Road to make it safe for my neighbor John. Does that make sense to you, John?
Yeah, and if it's tied to the concept of a trail, then there's additional funds available on the state and federal level that can be applied to that improvement normally. And I get the comment, tying it to the trail allows us additional funds to come in to do that project right and to take care of the landowners that might be impacted by that widening of the road. So it seems to be really a winning opportunity. By tying it to the trail, though, that was the point I was trying to make. I got misstated in the paper. By trying to a trail concept, it opens up for additional money. All of us do not have to pay for it out of our local taxes.
I stand you correct on that, John. We still have to pay for it. It's just in a different way. Yeah. I don't think we agree on that one.
Yeah. But I do. There are, also a lot of good information how these kind of improvements can bring in revenue to a community like this. And I've looked at a number of those, trying to generate what kind of return does something like this bring to the community? What new opportunities does it allow the community to foster? So yes, it does.
It's
That
quite,
money comes from us and goes somewhere, either locally or state or federal. So,
and the return can be quite large.
yes, again.
So, but if it affects quality of life and livelihood, then
Yeah, and there's value to quality of life
yeah.
as well. When it-
So I guess I'd like to put that in the form of a question then to both of you. Would you support that plan for the landowners to buy that back and the county use those funds to improve Bell Fountain Road?
There's a problem with doing it on Bell Fountain though. I mean, because I suggest, somebody else, Dave Buchanan suggested that, and I put that idea forth, and I can't remember, there was some issue that I don't remember because it's been months and months, but, so theoretically I like the idea, yes.
I don't see what the problem could be. There's a
I
public right-of-way there and there's bicycles on it. Why not improve it?
I can't remember, I really can't remember.
I asked that question to Annabelle, and she said that part of the problem that she foresaw, I think the right word anyway, that she was aware of was that on Bell Fountain Road, she felt that there were some major cuts in some of the banks that didn't lend itself to a really easy widening of the roads in certain locations. And I didn't pay attention on my drive back to see if what she was saying was, what I would have thought was accurate. So they would have, the way she was alluding was that it would be so costly to widen in some areas. That's what was something I heard from one of the commissioners asking that direct question. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's not that difficult because the road is already there. There's a shoulder. They just have to widen it. So I'm kind of in agreement. I think it should come from Bell Fountain Road. And I think it's just a matter of putting some money out and getting it done.
Instead of putting it into the bike path, which would cost probably even more, than just fixing the roads and widening them.
I suspect, though, that if you did it on Bell Fountain Road, it wouldn't qualify for an ODOT grant or a federal grant.
I think that's
That's your
part of it too. It's
It's all about the money.
there are issues, but theoretically it makes sense. But I don't know the details. I mean, to pass judgment and give your opinion on something when you don't feel like, I mean, we're not even elected yet. And so it's
Well, go ahead and pretend like you are because we are. One of us is.
one of us, or the Green Party.
No, I think one of us is.
I had a question.
Oh, yeah, Vernon.
Well, not so much a question, maybe just a statement as a concerned taxpayer who isn't affected by having property on this railroad right away. But I live on a gravel road and I can't see why the county should be spending $500,000 to buy a railroad grade when we can't even get a road grader up our road more than twice a year, and that's only after somebody gets tired of their car jumping from one side of the road to the other because the washboards and potholes are so bad that you got to call the county and they'll send a road grader.
Yeah.
So here they are spending $500,000 for something, and they can't even take care of the roads that they have now. And to me, it would make, if they're going to put in a bike path, it would make more sense to take some of the existing rock roads they have that are rural, pave one of them, maybe get some of the bikes off of Bell Fountain Road, and take a different route to Monroe or Alpine, wherever.
So there's another solution.
It's
Yeah.
like
I know
a
there-
one-track line coming to Alpine on their bicycles. Well, there's other places to go. They, improve some of the other rock roads. And it seems like Lynn County, there's hardly a road in Lynn County that isn't paved. Benton County.
There's a big difference between Lynn and Benton though. They had the dollars for roads there, or we don't.
Maybe they spend more wisely. Yeah, what are they doing different?
I think it's
Attracting business. Yeah, attracting companies to come have jobs there.
it's true.
And that was something that got brought up in the main meeting. Another thing that I learned that kind of was
Starling was, the meeting got started off, we're gonna look at these, this is the vision, county vision. Here's three ways to get to that vision. And then we need help from you guys, the local people, to fill out those three things and how to make those three things happen. But the vision got told to us that the reason we don't want you messing with the vision, because we paid really good money for that in 1995. And so I posed the question, I said, has things gotten better since 1995? And Annabelle answered, she answered honestly, and it's her opinion. She said yes. And I said, well, it's my opinion that I've lived here, been all over the U.S. as well, and I've lived here a long time, before 1995. And I don't know that it's gotten any better. I don't know that it's gotten any worse. I mean, I do know that we've lost a big employer, and it's sad that you're banking on the one, you know what I mean? So I said, well, why are we focused on something that was developed in 1995 when we haven't seen the results in 2014? So,
I'm gonna answer your question. That's part of the $2 million that's needed right now. I talked to the Public Works Director before he retired, and he was in a position that enlightened me a little bit. And it's known what needs to be done. You can talk to the Gerdings that live on a road that they were told years ago that if you move your fences back, we're gonna pave your road. So they gave up all that land and they never got anything. That's not right. So we made a promise that needs to be done. We used to have, I think, 6th graders, we have 2. I mean, everything is, the priorities are changing. And that's why things aren't as good as they used to be. There's more people that used to be able to stay here and get a job, and you can't anymore. There's a lot of things to look at. But when I went to the 3rd strategic planning meeting, there were so many county employees in each seat that they drove the conversation. So they didn't put up on the board what the citizens wanted. They put up on the board what the employees were told to put up. And so that all that information that was up there was created before the meeting. And I, being the person I am, got my stuff up there. But and some of it I think is really good. I think that they need to look at it. At least it got in the record. But the whole deal, and we need to get into 2 more subjects before we get out of here. And that's, if you could bring it up, I want to talk about Public Works and I want to talk about the Sheriff's Office. So if you have questions about those, I'd like to talk about it. Do you have anything else you want to say about those?
Somebody else.